Get your day started right. From our shack to yours, this is Coffee and Ham Radios. We are live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies
Howdy,
and
everybody.
gentlemen,
This is Steve. And we are live. I'm coming to you from a undisclosed location. And I'm on my way to the Youth on the Air camp for 2022, which is going to be at the Voice of America Radio Museum in Westchester, Ohio. So you'll see some videos coming from me about that this week coming up. And you'll see some videos from Not Becca, KD9POK, as she releases her videos coming up. And then today we're talking about cameras and video equipment and studio setups and ham shack setups and all that kind of stuff. And we brought one expert on, and then we brought Carlos on also. The expert, as you may have already surmised, is KM4ACK over here, and the Carlos, well, you know the Carlos. How's everybody doing this morning? Jim, start off with you.
Great, outstanding, and thank God that we have coffee. That's all I got to say.
Jason,
Doing
welcome.
good. Doing good.
Doing great this morning, and I'll have to agree with him. Coffee in hand.
Yeah.
Well, that's the name of the show, fellas. I'm glad we're doing that. Carlos, you're 2 cups in already.
I've had 2 cups, and I'm going to stop there because, you know, even though coffee is the elixir of the gods, if I have more than 2 this morning, I'm going to be bouncing off the walls tonight.
And Carlos, you have a special connection to coffee that you've told us about before. Do you want to talk about that again?
A special condition to coffee. Tell me about
Connection.
Oh yeah, I grew up in a coffee plantation, a coffee farm in Puerto Rico. So I've been involved with coffee since before I could write a sentence, and I've been involved with coffee ever since. So yeah, I'm way too familiar with the production of coffee. It's pretty funny. My mom has a picture of me as a baby with a bottle filled with coffee. So that explains a lot, right? Doesn't it?
I thought you were going to say bottle of
As short
rum.
as you are, yeah. And if you guys haven't seen Carlos in person, he is rather short. So.
Well, you're tall.
It's from hitting the ground so hard. It shrinks you
Everybody's
down.
short compared to me, yeah.
I bet
Those
he's not
landings.
short compared to some people I've seen standing next to Good Game.
Yeah, Good Game's got a couple inches on me, too. So, Chuck, how are
Everybody's
you this
short,
morning?
standing next to Good Game.
He's like a
Yeah.
Sasquatch, except for no hair.
No hair on that.
Sasquatch.
It's a bald squatch.
The Mexican hairless
Right
squat.
up, he's a
A
big
chrome
one.
squatch.
I'm doing good. I did a video yesterday, the 2-meter SSB. That's something I like doing. It's just so much fun because you can take a 7-element or a 5-element antenna out, and it's only like 8 feet long, you know. So
Nice.
lots of fun.
Are you going to be in the VHF contest this weekend?
Probably not. I'm getting ready for a trip, so I don't have time. And
Free
packing
point.
boxes. I've been packaging. I'm all packaged up actually.
Well, you just put a video out, right? Is that what you're saying on the 2-meter single sideband?
Yeah, it was up in. It was when I did the soda for St. John Mountain. The night before was Sunday night, which is the Bozo Net, which is the guy in Fresno, Mike. And man, I've never heard so many people on the Bozo Net before, because at my house, when I do it here, it's like I'm surrounded by hills. And up there, I was at 6,400 feet, so I was like, I mean, the guy that helps him in Sacramento, helps get contacts for him for the net, was pointed towards Fresno, which was away from me, and he was plus 20 at my radio, so off the back of his antennas. That guy's got like stacked 9 or 10 element antennas. They take it serious. Let's just say that.
I think the next car antenna that we build is going to be a back beam antenna, because apparently off the back is a pretty good way of making contact.
I've talked to 2 people. I've talked to a guy back east and a guy in Hawaii, and able to get the guy in Hawaii off the back. I think even
How
off the
about that?
back, it's more gain than just a regular antenna.
Did Chuck say something upset Carlos? What happened?
I think so.
Anytime you mention back and beam in the same sentence, Carlos disappears.
I've done really good catching Carlos on the air.
Oh, Carlos on the extreme zoom. Uh-oh.
There he is. He's closer now.
Yeah.
He's
So,
closer
Abe, I know
to
we've
me,
got to
too. Back
keep
off,
the show.
man. Back off.
I know we've got to keep the show right at the right time length today, because you have to get out to the farmers market, right? You've got a booth today.
I have a booth at the farmer's market. I might. I don't know. I don't know.
He buys the booths at the farmer market.
Right. It's a kissing booth.
Right.
That's not my joke.
So your wife's in it, not you, right?
That was
Let's hope.
Greg, Shaq and Greg said he was setting up a kissing booth at Huntsville Ham Fest.
I went. It was good. I recommend it. I would go again.
Okay.
Cheap at half the price.
But no, nothing too exciting going on over here. I do have some burgers that I'm going to throw on the grill later on today, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Excellent. So today we're talking about video setups, and I guess I'm in the top corner, so I will start off first. And I am probably the lowest budget video creator that exists. Maybe not. I don't know. I've seen some other videos out there, but I use whatever equipment I can get my hands on. I started out with a Canon camcorder style setup. I mean, that's not a thing anymore, but it's a shape and configuration of camera as opposed to like a DSLR, which is, you look through the lens kind of thing. And this is just a regular kind of camcorder thing. And then I just moved over to using my cell phone. And now most of my videos come out on my cell phone. This video here that we're doing, I'm streaming from my laptop using the built-in camera at the top of the screen. And I've got some good lighting out here on the porch at Carlos's house. And then I've got a real cheap headset that I'm using. So it's relatively straightforward. It's more about the content that you present and the style that you present it in than it is about the video equipment itself in my mind. The video equipment will take really good content and make it better, but it won't take really bad content and make up for that. So it does have a lot to do with your personal presence. And, you get started in videos and you got to kind of overcome some of the stress and the shyness and the stage fright kind of deal. But it goes away and you do get better. So if you go back and watch some of the earlier videos on my channel, you'll see that I'm a totally different character on screen. And you can't do that for Ake's channel because he went back and deleted all of his early videos. But
I did. I've deleted over probably 150 total so far.
And wow. you made a good comment about that this morning. And it's one of the algorithm things. I'll let you talk about it. You were talking about somebody finding a Budweiser video on your channel.
Well, yeah. So one of the things that the YouTube algorithm is a goofy thing, and I'm not an expert on it, but if you put up videos and people who are subscribed to your channel don't watch your videos, it sends a signal to YouTube that, hey, even this guy's subscribers aren't watching this video. And that's not just new videos, that's old videos that pop up as recommended videos. So I had a video where I was complaining about the Budweiser bow tie can. And I literally did that video probably 10 years ago. And it popped to people in the recommendations feed, but they don't click it. It had 8,000 views. So that's why it was getting recommended to people. Like, hey, 8,000 people watch this. But people it was getting newly recommended to don't watch stuff like that. So I took it down. So that one won't get recommended anymore was the reasoning there.
That was one of my favorite videos.
The algorithm's a fickle beast, and Carlos and I were talking about this the other day, and there's been a couple of creators that have come out and spoken about this. Dave from EEV blog, I'm sure everybody has seen him at least once or twice. Hi! And
higher pitch, though.
Nate from Channel Makers just put out a video on this. And YouTube gives you lots and lots of feedback on what you're doing. And some people take that feedback the wrong way, and it's okay if that's how you are. I take that feedback in a different light. So YouTube will tell you right straight away inside of the studio, your channel views are up 4,000% over last month because you produced more videos. Keep up producing more videos. And people seem to feel some pressure about that. And I'm here to tell you, don't feel any pressure about YouTube. If you want to do YouTube or you want to do videos, do what makes you happy. And because you're happy about it and because you're genuine about it, people will enjoy that and you will find your own audience. And YouTube's just giving you positive feedback that you've done the right thing. They're not giving you pressure to do more of that thing. That's your own personal feeling.
Your own internal pressure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm saying that to empower you to dismiss that personal feeling, not to tell you that your feelings are invalid. So work with me on that kind of thing. I don't know if that's coming across or not, but it's totally up to you. You're in control of your own channel. You're in control of your own destiny. Make a video a week, make 4 videos a day, make a video once every 4 years. That's totally cool with you and your own personal goals. So, don't feel any pressure to do it. But like I do it because I enjoy all the feedback. I love the interaction with the community. I love building the community. I love playing with the radios and testing them out. And again, Carlos and I were talking about this. All those videos I did on the X6100 as an example, I was going to do all that stuff with that radio anyway. So I might as well share it and enjoy the community and bring it all out to people who either A, didn't get the radio and want to see what it is, or B, did get the radio and want to play along. And it goes where it goes. And I really enjoyed that myself. So that's my take. What do you guys think?
I think you're awful sensitive this morning. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Those classes must have paid off.
I'm sharing. Yeah.
That's a lot of feels, man. That's a lot of feels.
So Jim, you're newest to the live streaming thing, and I think you're the newest YouTube channel in the group here. So tell us about your setup.
Well, so what I've got, well, I've actually got 3 setups just because it's the way it worked out. So inside I have, this is what I'm at right now, is a desk in the house in my office. And I've kind of built this up as I went. When I started the channel, I wasn't really doing any live stream stuff. That's changed a lot in the last year, but I have 2 Handycam style cameras, each out in the shop. One's on an overhead to shoot, review videos and teardowns and stuff like that, and then I have another one that's just on a tripod where the scope and the spectrum analyzer and all the test gear is to shoot that. And those are nothing special. Those are just Handycams. I just use a lav mic on both of them. One thing I've discovered that's driving me nuts is that the same mic records completely differently on 2 different cameras, which is just irritating beyond belief. On one camera, it sounds perfect. On the other camera, and I'm like, what in the... So whatever. And then here for streaming, I have a Sony ZV-1 that I use for any live stream stuff at all.
That ZV-1 is nice, but on that audio thing that you just talked about, I will purposefully try my best to record 100% of the audio on the same device, even if that means taking my camera and facing it to like the wall or something, and then syncing the 2 audios together in post-production so that it's the same camera and the same recording device the whole way through. Because that shift in audio, it either needs to be specifically abrupt for a reason or it needs to not exist at all.
Right.
Yeah, you can do like a second view. And
I spend a lot of time...
clip that second view in every once in a while. So.
Yeah. There's several techniques. I spend a lot of time in post-production. I use Adobe Rush. I have the full Adobe package.
Talk about pressure. You name your product Rush.
Mm-hmm.
I use Adobe Rush for the post-production stuff, and I try to levelize the volume in there and get rid of any background noise. Because my shop is a metal shed, and I live in Alabama, and, so it's like 1,000 degrees in there. So I have to have at least a fan going when I'm recording. Jeez.
So what you're saying is you have the Joe Brett setup just in a different state.
Right. Yes. My shed is bigger than his. I'm just going to say that.
What part of Alabama are you in?
I'm in Montgomery.
Okay. I grew up in Florence.
Wow. Okay. So that's North Alabama. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been here for
Northwest Alabama.
I've been, I was Air Force, and I got stationed here back in the 80s, and just keep marrying women who don't want to move north. So there you go. But I mean, my setup is not super complicated. Somebody made the comment about audio is a lot of it, and I cannot emphasize that enough. And the other thing, honestly, let's see, Ape's got one and Jason's got one. If you don't have a really nice, mellow background, and what Steve and Carlos are sitting in front of is good, even Chuck's is decent. God almighty, spend $20 and get a green curtain. That was one of the best investments I ever made, because I can record out in my shop, which is, kind of man junky. And you guys don't know what all that distracting hot mess out there is, nor can you see anything that I need to dispose of or wrap in plastic prior to disposal.
I heard what you said, and what I heard was your junk is a hot mess.
Yes. Mm-hmm. My shop is a hot mess of man junk.
That's not what we heard.
Not what you heard. So, I mean, those 2 things, honestly, just get a decent microphone set up and audio recording. And Chuck just bought a, I can't remember, what's the thing you bought, Chuck, the recorder?
It's a digital voice recorder from,
which one?
They're owned by KM4ACK, but it's not KM4ACK. It's,
I
forget the brand.
Well, what I'm going to try,
Zoom?
start doing.
I'll figure it
is-
out in a second.
It might be Zoom. I'm
not
going to start
Zoom.
recording audio
Zoom.
on the same microphone, so the audio is always the same, and then
Well,
just
there's
sync
a
audio.
lot of people record it on those little recorders, and then they go in post production and they take
Yep.
the audio out of that, and then they marry it up with their footage. So when you when you make YouTube channels, the Tio was on it. He's like, hey, you make channels that you want to make, not to serve. It depends on why you're doing it. Like if you want to have a career in YouTube and you want to be an influencer and all that stuff, make cat videos or something, trying to eat a whole pizza or something like that, where people are going to go and they're going to watch it. And the way that you
Goldberg's
produce
Cookie Burger.
those videos are a little bit different. If you're a ham operator and you're exuberant about the hobby or service, whatever you want to argue it is, just go out and make videos and share content and share your experience. Because I think that the people who watch ham radio videos are a little bit different in either want to experience share with somebody. Like if somebody goes out and they do an awesome POTA and I want to watch and be like, yeah, man. Or I want to learn something. And so you have some more flexibility in the style that you're making and the quality of your video there. So really, it really depends. And when I first started making videos, I shot tons of them on an old iPad. And I'm not saying I was right or I was wrong, but I was just trying to make content and share content. I wasn't trying to be the next YouTube sensation and make $1 million.
Yeah,
It just happened all on its own.
This ain't never going to
Right.
be a job here.
No.
I mean, it's a chore, but it ain't a job.
But
Exactly.
you're talking about the sound is the most important thing. And I was trying all kinds of different microphones. Like I had a Rode boom mic that it was really nice, but it picked up every single noise, not just in my house, but outside. So it didn't work for me. And I tried lav mics and I tried the Yeti Blue. And I was talking to Josh at Ham Radio Crash Course, and he gave me the best YouTube advice anybody's ever given me, even to this day. He said, go buy a Rode Pod mic and a Focusrite audio interface, the Duo. And I got both of them for $200, and the audio became instantly much, much better. And my views went up, but they went up for a bunch of reasons, but that was obviously one of them. And I feel pretty strongly that if people can't hear you, they're not going to watch. Right. And everything
Lighting
else
lighting is the other thing too.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of videos that are just poorly lit. And this goes with the green screen thing too. You know, Jason, you're a photographer, and Chuck shoots, and I've shot a lot before. I hate doing weddings. That's why I don't do photography for a living. I saw you talking about your shooting schedule. I'm like, oh no, that's way too much work there. But lighting is so important in having a channel that's presentable, so that your camera can focus, because that all happens with light. You know, you're not wearing a greasy shirt that you wore when you cut the grass 3 days ago. And, just a lot of little presentation things just can go a long way. And you can get a decent LED light for almost nothing. And
Yep.
Well, like what I was saying about people recording the sound on a different device, you also have to take in your production time, right? The time it takes to edit a video.
Yeah.
So a lot of YouTubers love to do live stream because it's shoot it and done, right? It's in the can, it's on the air, and you're
editing.
and you're done with it. And a lot of times,
important safety tip. Thank you.
yeah, people get overly edit. They edit too much, right? Like you can put too much production. Be like, well, I need to put in 13 seconds of B-roll right here, and then I have to have.
Oh yeah, I don't.
It really depends on what you're trying to do. Like I said earlier, and trying to accomplish. Like for me, I'm more on the nerdy side of things. Like if I watch a video, it's because I want to consume information. I want to learn something.
Yeah.
I don't give a damn about B-roll, but I might not be your target audience. Other people love to see you make a cup of coffee at the beginning of the video. You know what I mean?
What are you talking about? You talking about
30 seconds, 30 or 45 seconds of intro on a 5-minute video.
If it moves the story along, if it's part of the story, I mean, YouTube will give you this feedback, and you can watch the engagement in the video, and you can tell right where people left. And if I roll in with a long intro, and then I roll in with a video opening theme song, and then I come back making a cup of coffee, I can just watch everybody just leave the video, and then I get to the point, and then I've got like 30% retention for the rest of the way out. So there's definitely some techniques that you can do. And one of the things that we want to talk about with techniques, and the reason why Jason is here, is because Jason, you've got a actual real career besides YouTube, right? What do you do?
I am a professional photographer and have been for 30 years. So he was talking about lighting a while ago. That was second nature to me when I moved to video. The audio portion was a huge learning curve for me. I would say unless it is a hardwired mic that you're using, and if you're going to move to a wireless mic setup, don't skimp. Spend the money the first time. I've got a cheap set of mics that I'm willing to sell you to prove a point.
It's that whole buy once, cry once. Right?
It really is. I mean, there's some things you can get away buying lower end, but wireless mics is not one of them. I literally have like a $70 set that I was trying to use. I filmed one video with that $70 set of mics. I was 5 feet away from the receiver and had numerous dropouts.
I'm this close to buying the DJI mic.
I just saw Josh's camera bag video that he did, and that is a really slick looking set of mics. I like the fact you can drop them all into that case and charge everything at one time.
Yeah,
I think
that's
it's the same
probably
mic that
the
you
biggest.
have. Like
No,
you're talking about the 2 mic set. I know what you're talking about, but I think it's 2 of the mic that you have plus a charging case.
Well, it's a different. So I'm using the Rode mics. That's
different.
actually DJI. So it's a
Right.
different set. But
I thought you
just
had a DJI with your
Oh,
Osmo.
okay. I know what you're talking about now. Yes, that's not my primary mic, but yeah,
Right.
you're right. I do have that, probably the same mic for the Pocket 2, but I don't have a dual set, and the receiver for that particular one is built into the Pocket 2.
Do you like the Pocket 2?
Dude, I love the Pocket 2. I use it for all the walk around videos that I do at Hamfest. I'll use it as an overhead camera because it's so lightweight and adjustable. And it keeps everything really, if you bump the table or something like that, you don't see that in the video.
I like that overhead. I might actually have to. I hate mine, but I never tried it as an overhead.
You can there is some adjustments on that as opposed to like the regular sports cameras, right? You can adjust a few settings in it.
Yes, you can adjust some of the settings in there.
I mean,
I've kind of got mine to
it,
where I've got mine to kind of where I want it, and I
Right.
don't mess with it very much.
Yeah,
I
that's
brought
it.
a picture of the Pocket 2 up. That's what it looks like, and it's really handheld, and that head is on a gimbal, and you can swivel that around to look at you, and then swivel it back to look at your subject matter. So it's pretty good.
There's 2 things on the gimbal stuff. A lot of people either love it or hate it because it can look really fake too, because nobody walks that smooth and stuff. But
Right.
so but like sports cameras are perfect for that kind of stuff, just like that camera is, because there's not even a gimbal on a sports camera, and you don't need it, as opposed to almost any camera. Very few cameras are very good at like walking around and stabilizing the footage without a gimbal.
Well, like the thing
Sony's
is,
are really bad.
that's another one. Is the gimbals are expensive, but it's
Yeah.
like you want a good one if you get one, right? I mean, you don't want the main effort of your video to be stabilizing your gimbal, right?
Right, and this is the one that I picked up, and I've been using this quite a bit, and it kind of works as a selfie stick, kind of works as a tripod. The only problem I have is it's either too high or not high enough when I'm doing like desk shots with it, because it's a good way to hold the cell phone and stabilize it, and if I bang the desk, it doesn't move everything around on me.
I've got the second version of that, and what I don't like about it, it's just that's all it does. Versus the one I showed you a different one that'll do cameras and phones. So if you want separate things, you know what I mean? It's just I hate buying something that does only one thing. That's why I changed. I mean, I've used it. It works great.
A lot of people are like, "Oh, I need to buy a GoPro because I want to do YouTube stuff."
Don't do it.
And I bought one of the original GoPro Silvers, I guess is what it was called. And this was like 10 years ago. And I guess it was okay. But the problem that I had with it is I couldn't see what I was recording.
Yeah.
And that's another
Right.
thing. Here's
They
the
fix that.
Osmo.
Yeah.
And this does have a view screen on the back of it, but I don't use this too much. But I have this housing. I can put it on a selfie stick. It's what I would use if I was walking around.
If you ever
And I
went
have
outside.
I have a mic that I have a little microphone attachment here where I have the Rode. It's like a little, looks like a pencil almost.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
I know
what they call
Carlos
it.
has had luck
Knock
with his GoPro, but I've got a GoPro 9. It's not reliable at all.
Well, see,
I use the
you know,
Osmo all the time.
from my end, I have a GoPro and an Osmo. And why do I have them? It isn't because I went out to look for gear to do YouTube. It's because it's what is used in the skydiving industry for video and pictures. So the GoPro is a staple in skydiving. I bought an Osmo thinking because it has better specs at the time in comparison to the GoPro 7 that was out,
Right.
that I would be turning in better video. But what turned out to be is all of our editing stuff was set for the GoPro, and they couldn't use any of my video. So even though I had better video, they had to just basically they just kept kicking it back, going, "We can't use this. We can't use this. We can't use this." And it just got to the point where I went and bought a GoPro 9 because they couldn't use the video that I was making.
The GoPro
for
9,
skydiving.
I think, compared to the Osmo, the GoPro 9 is a little bit better when it works. But I just can't rely on it because I go out and do 50 contacts and I look at my camera, it's like, oh shoot, when did it lock up? You know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
It happens all the time. I use it for a secondary camera, if anything now, unless I'm watching what I'm doing or I can redo what I'm doing. Now the horizon level thing is really cool on it. It's a really good camera when it works. I can't say it's not, but I think there's a lot of companies that do this. They don't want to fix the problems with what they're putting out right now. They want you to buy the new product.
Yeah. So
And
GoPro,
And that's
we
I don't
had
like
an
that.
issue.
Senna does the same thing with motorcycle headsets. They just buy the new one if we fix it in the new one, and it's not fixed.
We had an issue in skydiving where the GoPros were locking up, and this is a serious issue. You're paying, this is your first skydive, and you want it, recorded and
see it,
video and
right.
pictures and all that happy-go-lucky stuff to go with it. And we were having lockups in free fall. And you can't fix that. You can fix a lockup inside of the airplane. You can fix the lockup when you land and you're
Right.
doing the interview, right? You can start, but you can't fix the free fall part of it. But to their credit, GoPro did put out a firmware fix for the 9 and for the 10 that fixed the lockups for us. And
Really?
we haven't,
Because I've
again,
updated
knock on
mine and it
wood,
still does it.
what we have found is third-party batteries don't play well in a GoPro. So if you have third-party batteries and you get a lockup, good luck, right? And we have to use better SD cards than what GoPro says to use. GoPro says, like if you buy the kit at Costco, which is what I did with my latest GoPro purchase, it comes with a SanDisk Class 10 card, blah blah, right?
Which works.
If I use that very SanDisk card, I have issues. However, if I use a much higher grade card, and Jason may be aware of Pro Gear Digital, their thing is video and photography. They don't market to the action camera world, but if I use those cards, zero problems. And what I found is my colleagues that were having issues with their cards, once they moved over to Pro, I can't remember. It's either Pro Gear Digital or Pro Digital Gear or something like that. It's on Amazon. I'll send you guys a link so you can use it. But we haven't had any issues. But you have to buy high-end Class 10 cards or it just chokes.
The problem I've seen with GoPros is their batteries also don't tend to last very long, as in
Well, that's with
recording
everything.
time.
Tell you the truth, all cameras
And
are that way.
it's something that just aggravates me with GoPros because I have a couple, and the batteries require to come straight off the charger, and then they might work for 30 minutes, maybe, and then they're dead. I hate GoPros.
Yeah, my GoPro cost a fortune, and I think it's only $720. It's an older GoPro.
Yeah, mine are.
They are
Too.
expensive.
And I had it for like 5 years, and my daughter was going on a field trip, and she's like, "Hey, Dad, I want to take the GoPro on the field trip." And I'm thinking to myself, "No, the thing was like $500, and I'll never get it back. It's something terrible is going to happen." And so I said to her, "Let me see what I can do for you." And I went on to, I don't know, like Alibaba or AliExpress or something like that. And I ordered the Chinese 4K GoPro knockoff camera. And it was like $59 or something like that. And I was amazed at the quality of the 4K video. It was better in every way than my GoPro.
The Xiaomi, I can't pronounce that word.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. So I got it. I gave it to her and I let her take it and everything. But then I ended up using it for a while.
Well, I'm going to have to pick up one of these. Oh, that's it.
That's a weird problem with the batteries because I can do a weekend of skydiving on 2 batteries, and that's typically somewhere between 20 and 30 tandems, each of call it 15 minutes of video, all told, and I can do it on 2 batteries. I have 4 just to be on the safe side, but I can do it on 2.
Well, and for what I do, 99.9% of the time, I don't care that the GoPros, have this cat. I'm going to murder a cat. I'm going to.
Is somebody around here an expert that can talk about SD cards? Because like the SD cards is another huge thing. Like,
oh yeah, we could spend another
probably
hour
that guy right there.
Yeah, because I'm like, don't buy gas station SD cards.
No.
Yeah, I'm not really
good.
I'm not really an expert on them. I do know the difference in classes and speeds of cards is the critical part.
Yeah.
So the one you showed a while ago, it was a class 10, but it was a U3 card. And I'd have to go back and look up what each of the symbols means. But each of those markings on that SD card is a different rating for its read-write speed. So that's the critical thing. Is just keep up to date with those. And if you got a problem, try a faster card. It may eliminate some problems for you.
And
I think I run, I was looking at one here on my desk. I run the SanDisk Extreme Pros in all my professional gear.
Extreme wasn't an extreme enough word. They had to make it Extreme Pro.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Well, it's all about marketing,
Photography and video is 2 different things. Because I click a camera in photography, it writes once to that card. It's not a constant stream of data being written. So you may even need a faster card when it comes to video.
And newsflash for everybody, if you didn't know this in stream, I'm sure you guys all do. Those SD cards have a limited lifetime.
They do.
Yes.
You can't leave them in the car, all week and then use it on a weekend every weekend for 4 or 5 years. Nope, son, that thing is going to fail, and it will.
But
fail
if you buy nicer cards, they generally last a little bit longer. I'm not telling anybody what cards to buy, but like these are all 32s because I mostly use them for like Raspberry Pi stuff. But like I could stick these in a camera, if I got.
You can afford Raspberry Pis.
Right. I bought them before the thing, but you can get pretty decent cards, and I stock up on them. So like things like Black Friday or something like that, Amazon will have these huge sales on these cards, and managing cards is a huge pain in the butt, and especially if you have multiple people using multiple devices in the house. So it's a lot easier for me just to go grab like a 32 gig card I paid $9 for, and be like, here, take this one.
Replace the card.
Yeah,
they have a limited lifespan, and we're talking about doing video in a camera. You use them in a Raspberry Pi, same kind of deal. Eventually, it's going to smoke. They have a limited lifetime.
Well, the lifetime is based on rights.
Yes,
and it just depends.
And if you're recording video on the same camera card every week,
I buy new cards every skydiving season because of that. I don't want to have to. I don't want to be in the middle of a tandem video and have a card fail on me. So instead of it may last me 3 years. Right. But what I do is I take the cards that I bought for tandem videos last year, and they become my tool around, play around cards. And if they fail, no big deal. But I'm not going to lose a tandem video on account of not having a card that had lifetime left on it, because you get to make your first jump one time, man.
Yep.
I can
Jason, you probably shoot weddings, and I'm pretty sure Jason does not want to tell Bridezilla. So those wedding day photos.
My gas station card failed on me.
That's right. I got this right next to the sushi in the shell, and it said it was good.
I am celebrating 10 years this year of not shooting weddings.
Oh, awesome, dude!
Working on the planet.
I'm not a professional. I've never been a professional. I have shot 2 or 3 friend wedding deals. and I
Same
was
here.
ready to open a vein to escape from it because
It was 2012 when we quit, and that year we shot 26 weddings.
I remember the
Oh.
day.
So
that's a
Oh.
that's a lot
It
of
was a
weddings.
balmy autumn
So,
day.
so you guys are all making a very, very similar point, and it's kind of something that I suffer from also. There's a lot of things that I shoot on video that I cannot do a retake of. I only
Right.
get one chance to put
Right.
the resistor on the circuit board on film. I mean, I can take it back off, but then you know that it's already been cut and it's kind of dirty and it's mangled and so on.
We seen
and
your
it's not-
soldering, yeah.
It's not that big of a deal, but it is to the journey of the story that you're trying
Right.
to go on. And the story is also something that's really important. There's something called the hero's journey that makes a story that you're listening to engaging. And that's one of the things that we also have to talk about is the story that you're trying to convey and how you convey it. There's a lot of things that I'll do in a video where I won't tell you what I'm doing because I'm showing you what I'm doing. Or I will very specifically go and make a diagram of some kind, or I'll set up a scene so that I can demonstrate the thing visually because it's a visual medium. So a lot of times my story is a visual story and I won't talk about what's going on. And the other thing that I try to do personally is I try to not repeat myself a lot. I really try to not repeat myself at all. Like repeating myself is one of the things that really just drives me insane when people repeat themselves over and over and over again about the same
You're killing me,
thing.
Smalls. You're killing me.
See what I mean? So like as a viewer, you have the ability to rewind that. And the old style of teaching was, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you what I'm telling you. Then I'm going to tell you what I just done told you.
Yep.
That doesn't work on YouTube anymore. You're vying for such a short attention span in such a large pool of content. I'm drowning in content. When I was driving down to Carlos's house yesterday, I might have gotten 200 new notifications of videos from creators that have uploaded stuff, and that's just in the small ham world that we live in.
Right.
So there's a lot of content out there fighting for your eyeballs.
Well, you can't watch it all, and it's like there's a lot of really good ham tubers out there whose stuff I enjoy and I like to watch, but I just don't have the time to do it.
Present company included.
And then, well, in the last 2 years, everybody started doing it too, right? Like the amount of people creating ham radio content has exploded. So you can't watch it all, right? So your point's very valid.
Did we
Yeah.
ever
You get
finish
something-
with Jason? Jason telling us what he uses and stuff? I don't.
No, we
I don't think we ever got to the end of that. Yeah.
I don't think so.
A squirrel
I was
ran
just
by.
I was just going to say, if you've got something critical to record it with two cameras. Pick the best
Right.
view for one, and then set a second camera up. Maybe it's not the best view, but if that SD card, if something corrupts on there, you've at least got some sort of a backup.
It's always a good excuse that I got a corrupted SD card, right?
Need a new camera.
Battery
No,
died.
it's just
So, Jason,
I
what is
hear that
your
all the time.
shooting setup then?
So my primary camera is the Sony A6400.
oh, nice.
I chose that because I like the dual features of it, where I can take it out as a small compact camera and shoot stills with it, but it also does great video. So that's my primary. I do, for the first 2 years, I used only my cell phone to record it. I was running everything on an iPhone. To me, I outgrew that because of storage limits that was on it and the speed at which I could transfer things off of the device and onto the hard drive.
That's the worst.
So that was a real pain in the butt when I wanted to, say we're at Hamvention or Hamcation, you're trying to put out a video that night that was filmed that day. And Steve knows at least, we've got very limited amounts of downtime. And I can't be waiting 40 minutes for something to transfer off the phone over to the computer. So I like being able to just pull the SD card out and read it with a faster reader and be able to get to editing. And I'm curious, what are you guys? I'm gonna say this first. When I started with iMovie to edit because it was free and I was just getting into this, and there was other places I wanted to spend money. Since I've moved over to DaVinci Resolve when I felt like I'd outgrown iMovie. But I'm kind of curious what you guys are using for editing.
Adobe Rush right now. I'm gonna upgrade to Premiere. I'm just too lazy.
I'm using DaVinci also. And Ape says it's really hard, but for some reason it clicked with me. So
It's got a learning curve for sure.
Well, it does have a learning curve, and if you're not using a paid version of DaVinci, then it's single threaded and takes forever to render. Maybe that's a big deal for somebody. Maybe it's not. It's fact, and you can pull up your resource manager and watch it. And so a lot of people who have longer form videos, when you talk about plus 15 minutes, the rendering time can be bad on it. And I'm not hating on DaVinci. I think it's fantastic. For 10 years, I used iMovie, and iMovie was fine. I made a switch when I started doing live streaming to, there's a thing called a virtual camera that I think we all use in OBS. And when I started live streaming, that did not exist for Mac. And so you had to use intermediate software in between your camera recording software and OBS to get it in there. And it was just a huge pain. So I went out and I bought a Windows machine. And when I did that, I needed an editing tool, and I tried a whole mess of them. And the one that I ended on was, it's called Mojave, $75, which I didn't want to spend. I'd rather have gone free, but it is very close to iMovie.
Yeah, and I use that based off of Ape's recommendation. And my problem now is I've used it so much that I'm so good at the ins and outs of that software that switching to DaVinci is a whole nother, it's like learning a completely new language.
That's why I haven't changed to Premiere.
I want to change because I want to up that level of video production quality to the next for me, but it's going to shrink my level of production down from like 100 videos a week to only 50. And I don't know that my audience can take that.
Well, you crank out a lot of videos, Tio. Like if you had to say on a monthly schedule, how many videos do you think that you're putting out?
Last month, YouTube gives you this feedback. Last month, I did 26 videos in 28 days. And I still have like 12 videos that are unreleased. And I fully enjoy this. Like this is my jam right now. I just love making videos. I've got a video that I started recording yesterday. I've got another one that I recorded this morning. And then I have like 2 more video ideas that I gave Carlos while I was sitting here. This stuff just like clicks for me right now. And it's like super exciting. And I hope that some of that energy comes across when I'm making the videos, because I don't know, like you watch a K8MRD video as an example, Mike is actually that excited in person. And
yes, he is.
He's fantastic character, and that character comes across in his videos to the point where I don't even like Mike, but I like watching his videos. I'm kidding. But he's like, he made a video with Jason where he was doing a POTA on the beach. And my personal thing is like, I can go make radio contacts, so I don't like watching people make radio contacts. I understand the mechanics of why people would want to, so I'm not hating on anybody. But when Mike made a contact, he pulled this contact out of the absolute noise and was so excited. He's like high-fiving Jason. He's like, check this out. He's like, motioning to the camera, like, wait, watch this. It's coming in. Like he's developing this story, and Mike just has this natural charisma that comes across.
What's like he wins the lottery, right? It's like he won the lottery when he makes a contact. And we'll say something controversial. I don't like watching POTA videos. It's just me. I know people like making them. I know people like watching them. It's not my thing. I can watch Mike do POTA videos because he's having a great time when he's doing it. And it's more about, right. It's more about the excitement and the exuberance that he's doing than it is the POTA stuff. So for me, like if somebody's going to go out and POTA, I would much rather see, hey, this is the location that I'm going to operate from. This is the antenna that I'm going to use. This is the radio that I'm going to use. And this is my game plan for making contacts.
Yep.
It's just a different perspective. Neither's right or wrong.
So KB9BBR, Michael, who does the J-pole antennas, has a different kind of filming style. And I've heard a lot of feedback about his filming style, but he makes up for that by giving you the history of the park.
Right.
And so it still winds up being something very interesting to watch. And Michael's a great guy, and I'm not saying anything bad about him at all, but like you can contrast the two of them. If you watch Michael do a POTA video and you watch Mike do a POTA video, you gain something entirely different, and there's 2 different presentation styles, and they both work. So it really just depends on what you're capable of doing, and your audience will give you that feedback, and your channel will grow if you follow along with, like, I did this video and nobody watched it and I gained no subscribers and my retention time sucked. So you'll be able to get that kind of feedback. So like, I'm sure Mike gets Mike's channel's growing. You can see how many subscribers he's gotten in just the last month. Carlos, you just had a video take off that has grown your channel pretty well.
Are you talking about the live stream, or are you talking about the coaxial collinear antenna? Because those two are kind of different things, right?
Yeah.
The live stream. No, or are you talking about the Hamvention? What I bought at Hamvention? That's what we were talking about this morning, right? Or last
It was
night.
the Hamvention one, and then we talked about your live stream. So Carlos did a video on the coaxial collinear antenna. He's going to help me build one coming up on a Ham Nuggets episode, and that did really well. And then he did the live stream from Hamvention, and that was actually a really good live stream because I was telling you this morning, you did a really good job of interacting with the chat and answering questions and getting to the point and being on the topic of the stream more so than being on, like, I don't even know how to say it, but like it was more about the topic than it was about just chatting. It was not a happy hour type video. It was a content laden live stream, which was really good. And then what you bought at Hamvention just took off, and that was like your lowest effort video that you put out, is what you were telling me.
Lowest effort in terms of, hey, I already have it. I may as well just make a recording about it. I didn't have to go do anything special to get it done. And people are watching that video, I guess, living vicariously in terms of they didn't get to go to Hamvention and they're looking at what I got. And I didn't get, it's not like I went and got some crazy killer deals, because I didn't get a chance to walk the flea market. And that's where the killer deals were.
Oh, really?
But, well, I mean,
it's just so much
on
out there.
Friday,
like, you miss a lot.
It's a 2-year event.
On Friday, somebody picked up an 891 brand new in the box in flea market for $450. That's a hell of a deal. You can't beat that, right? As deals go, you just can't beat that. So, and there were a number of items like that in the flea market that I just didn't get to do on Friday because I put priority on experiencing the vendor side of it, because it's my first Hamvention. I wanted to see that, right? Oh. And the video that I made about what I bought, I think everything that I bought there except one item or one pair of items was from the vendors inside of the buildings. And people like that for some reason. I thought it was just another bit of, hey, this is just catching up on what I did. But the vicarious living thing apparently appeals.
Yeah. So John's asking a question here. This is going to be really controversial, and I don't want to spend too much time on the negative, and that's why, I don't spend any time on the negative. If there's negative comments, I get rid of them. If there's negative feedback on a video, I will not make more videos like that. So you do get some video feedback. Jason, what are your thoughts on that?
I think I watch views and watch time more than anything else as an indicator on whether that video is popular, and whether I should do more content like it. I had several requests. I just put out a video on my camera bag and the gear I shoot or use to shoot videos. I thought that was going to be a popular video. I spent a good amount of time recording that, editing that, and it was a complete flop on the channel. Literally, it might have 500 views where I would normally see 3,000 to 4,000 views. I'm not going to do a follow-up. Yeah, I'm not going to do a follow-up video on that. I have other videos that I have put minimal effort into, and they get 10,000 views in 3 days. Sometimes, I guess it's part of trying to learn the audience and what they really want. Yep. So, yeah, I got 100 people that come into the comments and disagree with me, but I've got 25,000 views in 3 days. I'm doing that video again,
that's less than 1%.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Well, you've done a really good job of very targeting. I mean, I'm all out of focus. I'm a cheap camera. So you're in the ham radio space, but you're really more in the MCOM portable space, right? Like you're very targeted. Like, we're not going to see 10 DMR videos from you, right? And you might do a DMR video here or there, but that's not the core or the focus of what your channel. So you do a really good job of maintaining a very specialized audience there. A lot of times, if you put out such widely varied videos, you can get a good audience, but it's not the same thing, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, it is. I mean, seeing Mike K8MRD doing review videos, that took some adjusting for me, because in the beginning I never saw Mike do anything but POTA.
Right.
So when I got an alert from his channel, I was expecting another video concerning POTA or maybe not a actual activation, but gear or something else like that he was going to be using on his next POTA. So
the good examples of that niche are like Red Summit and Adam, right? Like they're that extreme soda type video, and so like their core audience, and they'll get tons of positive stuff just around people who that's their jam. That's what they like. That's what they like to do. If you're going to want to learn DMR or FT8 or something like that, you wouldn't go to Red's channel, I would think.
Right. And so back to this negative feedback thing, like that comment I just made about repeating yourself could be considered negative feedback, but there's 6 of us here on stream right now, and only one of us felt that way. So that's not a high percentage as an example. Some people might not be able to get that information in the first go round and enjoy that. And your video retention and your audience numbers and all of the metrics that you get back from YouTube will tell you that that's met your audience, and your audience might enjoy that kind of thing. Like if I was to do nothing but Raspberry Pi videos, my audience would tell me I'm copying Jason. That's another question that we just got from Santiago. What do you do when another channel steals an idea? And Ape and I have talked about this, and there's a couple of others. We don't care.
I don't care.
Yeah.
It's such a limited niche space. When ICOM releases the 705 Mark II-G, we're all going to do a video on it, and we're all going to want that radio, and we're all going to talk about it because it's the new thing, and we're all excited about it. And every single one of us is going to have a different spin. We did a Willett antenna night, and all of us picked something different. Nobody did the same video, even though we all set aside that time to make the same video. It was 8 different videos.
Yeah, but there's other times where somebody does a direct lift, right? And so I did a video, and somebody who complains about people stealing their ideas all the time, 6 months later did the almost exact same video. I don't know if I really care. I think that if you look at anybody's videos, you're going to see similarities and trends. And I talk about it all the time. I got accused of copying somebody. Part of my video was an unboxing, which somebody else did on a piece of equipment. And I'm like, yeah, there's only so many different ways I can take it out of the box. There are differences in the video, but there's definitely similarities there. You get this thing, it's like tribal or group think around certain things where everybody starts to believe or say the same things. And you do pick that up, and you will. If everybody starts using certain language, certain phrases, everybody's going to use it. And it doesn't necessarily mean
if it's good.
That you make first off, ham radio people aren't making a killing at this, so it's not like anybody's making a living off of stealing everybody else's content and posting it up there. So I don't really care if somebody wants to.
I mean, I have a much smaller channel than any of you guys. Including Carlos, which still amazing.
Well, you directly stole one of my ideas, Jim.
I
and
did.
You were there when we made it. Yeah, we did that one on the coax switch teardown, and then next thing I know, you've got a video on a coax switch teardown.
Right.
Jerk.
Thief.
Oh, that was a live stream that I was helping you with.
I know.
It was my coax switch. It was my coax switch. You hippie.
Yeah.
Somebody did take a thumbnail of mine. I was upset about that.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
That was sketch.
Well, I've been told by a person that I stole his video, and I said, "Well, look at my videos. I did that video a year ago." Oh, I didn't see that one.
Well, like I stole it before you made it.
He stole it before I made it.
This is a small hobby, and there's only so many pieces of it. Ape and I, for example, prime example where there's going to be some crossover stuff. He's into test nerd gear, and that's what my jam is too. A lot. So
there's two major radio companies right now, right? Yaesu and ICOM.
Don't be surprised when you start seeing oscilloscope videos from me because I bought an oscilloscope.
I'm still
right now.
I'm trying to get this knucklehead to buy one. I've got one just for him that he wants, and I know he wants it. His wife told him he wanted it. He just hasn't.
Yeah. I'd say the most complaints I get.
But I mean, there's going to be crossover. But like somebody said, there's 3 or 4 different ways to present the same thing too.
Sometimes there's just coincidences. Myself and Mike KM4ACK released a video on the exact same day on an FRS radio. We sit there and text back and forth joking about it because there was nothing pre-planned. But to the viewer, you might have just assumed, hey, these guys got together and made this happen on the exact same day.
Right.
Nope.
That TID radio antenna that I did.
I didn't make
the the 2-meter antenna with the copper halo on the top of it. I recorded that video like 2 weeks prior to releasing it, and then everybody released it on that Sunday. I'm like, crap, now I got to go release my video that I recorded 2 weeks ago because y'all scooped me on my own video. Oh man,
It happens all the time. When I
did
work on a video and somebody releases the same topic, and so I just put it at the back of the catalog. And I say I can get it, go get it.
I didn't
in like 6
make
months.
a KM4ACK build video because Mike, like I recorded it as soon as I got the kit, and I didn't have time to edit it, and I thought I'll get around to the edit in a few weeks. And when I finally got around to I'm gonna edit this, Mike published that week his build video and his KM4ACK, and I'm like, there's only one thing I did different, and there's not enough there for me to justify the edit. So no, I'm not doing it.
I've got the best KM4ACK NFED halfway build video ever because my video KM4ACK built it for me.
I didn't build it for you. I was just sitting there when you guys built it.
Well, both of us were like in full on Elmer mode, tutoring Leah on how to build it, and
that was a lot of fun.
It was great. My video was about like the group of us doing the thing together, and not about actually making the antenna. So I thought that was pretty cool. It was.
And the question about the negative comments, again, I have a smaller channel, so I have a smaller population to answer from. I just, thanks for watching. I'm not going to argue with them. I'm not getting into some internet troll thing.
You stole that idea.
I did. I did. I totally, from this guy down here, and I can't get this camera thing figured out. This guy in the corner, because it's like if his grumpy butt does the same, you know what? Amen. Because ain't nobody got time for that.
See, the thing is, like with the negative content, like or comments, like if somebody says something factually incorrect, and I've made a mistake in a video, and everybody wants to point it out, and I'm like, oh, I guess you missed the other 59 comments where people said the exact same thing. But thank you.
Ape is wrong. I've got to get this right now. This needs to go out.
Right.
But at other times, people said things that, hey, you missed this, and you probably should have included it. And I'm like, thanks, man, because I totally did, and I did. I didn't realize that. So there's a way that you can give constructive feedback without being an asshole, right? But some people want to be like, you are the worst, and
productive discourse is it, right?
Right.
Civilized productive discourse matters, even if it's negative towards me, right? I would rather have that than some, stupid comment.
Jackleg.
Stupid doesn't bring anything to the table. I can't, I'm not going to engage with stupid. It just it's not worth my time. But if you come back and you say, hey, man, you wound that toroid too loose or too tight or whatever, okay, I can see that. I can understand that. I can do better. But,
I love the comments that they say something at the very beginning and it kind of makes sense, and then the rest of the comment just like makes no sense at all, and it's like you're commenting on what I did, but you can't even write a sentence,
Right.
And the biggest comments I get is music. Oh, that satanic music you have on your intro, and it's like, if you don't like it, turn it down. Right, I like the music, and I've had more people like it than not like it, so
you can't please everybody.
I'm going to play Zeppelin backwards on my next one.
I look for music that when I put the music in my video, it sticks in your head for the rest of the day, or maybe 2 days,
Yep. And so I stole this, speaking of stealing from other creators, I stole this from another creator who stole it from somebody else. Your vibe creates your tribe. And if you are on camera complaining about your viewers' negative comments, then you're encouraging more negative comments on your channel. So I try to be very encouraging. If something is absolutely cross, I just remove it. If something is constructively informative, like Carlos was saying, I will reply and say thank you. If I make a straight up mistake, which I've done before, I'll make a follow-up video. So it's, it's all about your own personal integrity, and it is about your own personal vibe. And it's the same thing we were talking about with K8MRD earlier. You want to watch his photo videos because he's so excited. That's his vibe. And that's exactly what you go to his channel for, is that type of exuberance. And he's got it.
Or like skill, like I'd like to mention that like Callum, the DX commander, is a very talented operator. And like, I don't necessarily want to watch somebody sit there and make contacts in their ham shack, but I love watching Callum do it, because the thing is he's putting on a class, and sometimes you don't even realize that he's doing it, but really highly skilled person there.
And he's a good storyteller too. My wife will watch his videos, and she won't watch anybody else's videos, even mine. And if I put on a Callum video,
I don't blame her.
she'll put down
Right.
her cell phone game and be like, "Oh, this is nice," because he's a fantastic
It's
storyteller.
the British voice. It's the accent.
It
You know,
adds.
it makes it
Adds
adds
9
like
dB at
more
least.
Well, he's a character.
and more
9
credibility.
dB.
He's British, man. I mean, you know.
I mean, I could see 3, but 9, man. Good God, he doesn't even have a beard.
I know.
But he makes the DX Commander.
Carlos, do you use anything besides GoPro?
Yeah, I actually use my cell phone.
Oh, yeah.
This is good enough for anything I'm gonna make. If it gets
Yeah.
to the point where I need a better camera, I will go down that road. But for now, I'm actually looking at buying a cage for this that I can mount on top of my helmet to aim down, so that I can have the forward view of the GoPro and then the radio view with this, so that you can see the radio meters and I can insert that in the corner. But I haven't found the right cage for it yet. So
Well, you need to make sure that case is bulletproof, right? Because you don't want to lose your phone.
Exactly.
Yep.
I don't want to lose my
This show's
phone.
going to take a whole new turn now, by the way. Jason from Ham Radio 2.0 just
Yeah.
showed up, so we really got to stop talking about him, because he's going to rewind and he's going to make a reaction video, and then that video is going to take off.
And then we'll have a beef. We'll
I
have
wish
like
that
a
you could still do
YouTube ham
those.
guy beef.
The reaction videos would be fantastic if you could still do those.
Yeah, I miss that YouTube had that, you know. I wish that they still did. You're right. But you're talking like 10-year-old YouTube now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What is that noise?
So that's you.
No.
Yeah, I
Turn
was
your
gonna say
sound
this. Oh, that's a printer. That's a printer moving back and forth.
That might be Jason over there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whoever just,
Jason's
his
whoever
factory.
just
His
Jason's in
factory
high
mode.
production mode right now. What are you printing, Jason?
Printing winders.
Printing winders. Awesome.
Yep.
So there's it was a Tascam.
That's it.
Jim is the one I
Yeah.
picked up.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm gonna
I
get.
haven't, I haven't really used it yet, so
It's in my
Hollywood's
shopping
got an
cart.
idea, Abe.
Yeah, that's not bad. That
Go
bad
ahead,
deal. People
Daniel
get
Rose.
upset though.
That would be a
You know-
target-rich environment right there,
Well, we just have to have them all on the show.
right?
But see, like, check, those things are awesome. But like what I was saying earlier is the production time. Like, I don't want to, when I cut and edit the video, I don't want to have to, the less I have to deal with, the better.
it takes like 2 seconds to match it.
Well, in any
And I
don't
know
have, man.
that's
You don't have 2
more
seconds.
than
I
one
mean,
at
okay,
best.
maybe 10. Now, you know what I bought it for? Is when I went to Hawaii last time, I was out on the beach. The surf is noisy. And one of the parks I was in was next to the highway, which wasn't like highways around my house. But it was pretty busy. I couldn't hear the radio. So as soon as I plug in headphones, if I'm doing contacts, nobody can hear the contacts. So I can go in from the radio into this and then to the headphones to me. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's going to record me or not, but I can fix that by using my other microphones.
But see, that's a
That's
perfect
the only
use case.
time I'm going to use it.
Yeah, like I know that
Mostly.
Red and Adam do that as well.
Right.
And see, like
I
that
asked
makes
Red
totally
about it.
total sense. Like a lot of guys who have those Elecraft radios use those as an intermediate weight. Because a lot of times, especially if they're doing CW, they need to go back when they cut and edit and put all the stuff in there. But you can
That's
tell
a lot
that
of
those videos take a long amount of time. Like if I'm just going to hook something up to the Spectrum Analyzer, I'm not going to use a separate audio device to record that. 'cause
Right,
that's
and
just
I
gonna
don't.
put a long pole in my tent.
I can do that with
Right.
the Rode too, but the Rode is not easy to do that with because technically you have to, that's the only drawback to the Rode system is you have to go into the computer to use some of the functions that it has. And I don't want to mess with that. I don't even mess with that. But
Right.
I use
and all this stuff changes so fast that you'll actually you're watching all of our channels evolve in real time as we're all trying
yeah.
something brand new that was just invented yesterday.
I started with a Canon T3 or something that had no autofocus. Then I found out real quick that I'd forgotten too much about cameras, so to figure out how to make that work. And I ended up with a it's the little brother of what Jason's used, the 6100. I actually got this for the same price as a M50 at the time because it's about $200 or $300 more than a M50 usually. And I didn't have any really good Canon glass or anything like that, you know. So switching over wasn't bad. and I like the Sony stuff. But then for my go-to lens depends on what I'm doing is a Sigma. It's a 56 millimeter 1.4. That's what I do all my intros and exits with.
Does anybody but Jason understand what Chuck is saying?
Jim should.
Can you camera explain that to us?
I get it.
I wasn't listening. Actually,
You got to have
All right,
these things.
so-
You got to have these things, right?
you need a freaking tripod. Oh my gosh, yes,
And that's a little
absolutely. I
one.
can't believe nobody's mentioned it. Any tripod,
Go ahead,
because
Jake.
I don't care how good the image stabilization is in your camera. When you're hand holding
cameras-
something,
The Sony cameras are terrible for that.
it's horrible.
And I don't.
It doesn't.
I
It
don't know that
doesn't
any
matter.
are.
I mean,
That's-
I tried to hand shoot something with the iPhone 13 Pro Max, whatever the
Hand
heck I
shoot.
got. Hand shoot. What did I say?
I never heard
Hand
a
hold.
hand shoot.
Hand hold.
Offhand.
Hand hold.
Handhold.
This is
And
where
it
the
was
GoPro really
terrible.
has it figured out.
GoPro and
Why?
Osmos are both great for that.
They
stuff.
have image stabilization, and I guarantee you, the tighter you get, that image stabilization is crap. Because the
I'm telling you,
iPhone's
it's
image
not.
stabilization is good too, but man, that handheld video I was trying to shoot was garbage. Put
What
it
I'm
on
telling you is,
tripod.
like-
That's all I'm saying. I don't argue
Oh,
with
no,
Carlos.
absolutely.
I love him.
Look, a tripod is going to help, right? But if
Tripod.
you're throwing all image stabilization under the bus, and I'm telling you that the GoPro does have an amazing image stabilization built into it.
They all have amazing image stabilization, but I don't trust it.
Well, that's true. That's
You
just
don't
trust
trust
issue. You have
Carlos,
trust
it
issues.
doesn't do it good.
That's like the Daiwa coax switches that a bunch of y'all don't trust.
All right, back to your corners, boys.
Good job, Abe. Good job. Speaking
Oh,
of mixing
Well, my
boards,
point,
Abe,
honestly, Carlos is not wrong mostly, but
I love that jab. He's not wrong. Mostly.
my brother from another mother, I'm going to pick on him.
So if you're looking to do videos money wise, this is probably one of the best things you can buy. To tell you the truth.
Even
Now
a cheap tripod.
I use it for overhead, but unfortunately I don't have enough light in my room for overhead, and I've gone back to my 6100 because I can dial it in better. There may be something in this camera that I can adjust that I just don't know about yet because I don't use it enough. But this thing has like a 50 times zoom or something, and it's actually pretty good. But you need it on a tripod, like Jim says, because you can't hold it steady. But and I know T.O. has the Canon version of that one, right?
Yep. That's what I was talking
I mean, you
about. that
can't
pilot camera.
for a couple $100, you can't beat one of those if you're just going to get started.
Yep.
I mean, and I blew it. This is the 10 or the 9, excuse me. I bought the Osmos, and when they came out with their new Osmo, I blew it because they were selling the old Osmo. What do they call it?
Four.
This
one
one you
that,
said to get was the action, right? This is
The Action. They had those for $200 when they were
that's a
bringing the
gimme.
new one out. Oh, I know.
That's a
I should
gimme.
have bought another one. I blew it, and now they're back up because they were trying to promote their new one. And then the new DJI new one's really, I like DJI stuff, but that camera's different. And I know Ape has he has a new camera here that he bought not too long ago. A couple of them now.
See, here I'm going to go in a little bit. This is the Sony ZV-1. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
I've replaced a Canon camera that I had with this, and I think it was a Canon M3. Is that a camera that exists?
Yeah.
And
I think so.
they have these fold out. I don't even know how to do it. They have these fold out viewfinders on here, so you can watch
Pull on it
yourself.
really hard.
Yeah, you're good. So you can watch yourself. The problem is that the Canon that I had didn't have clean HDMI out. So if I wanted to use it as a webcam, or if I wanted to feed it into OBS, it always had all this stuff on there, and that burned me up. I spent a lot of time trying to figure it out.
Clean HDMI.
They fixed
yeah.
These
that
these
with
came
the
out,
software,
and now a
though.
new one with a removable lens is there. But I don't think I'd want to spend the money. I don't use this camera very often, even though it's a good camera, because I want instant on, and so. Like with this, I have to have a USB set up, and it's charging, and the battery, and all this. I have a webcam here. It's a Logitech C922X, I believe is what it is, and it's always on. So I mean, I literally sit down and just hit the record button in OBS, and I can start recording. What I don't want to do is I don't want to have to touch the camera and then have the angle get messed up, and then I want it to be quick and easy.
That's
That's a big point. Yeah.
that is the issue I have here, because
Yeah, mine moves every time I turn it on.
Ooh, Bandit.
if the cat gets up
Started.
there, then that's why I don't like to run the desktop. It's
Bandit's
going to
on
move
it.
stuff.
early.
Yeah. So one of the
But,
big things about making videos that you can do if you're going to get into doing this at a regular clip like what we're doing here is have a go-to space set up, have a bag set up, have your gear ready to roll to make yourself more likely. And Jason, you just addressed this with go boxes. Like you had a 60, 80 pound go box. Like I'm not going out to POTA with an 80 pound go box. And so I have a little bag for my 6100 where 100% of my station, except for my antenna, fits in there. So I've got my radio, I've got my mic, I've got my speaker, I've got my antenna analyzer because it's built into the radio, I've got my tuner because it's built into the radio, and then I just take whatever antenna I'm taking with me, and I'm good to go for a real quick activation, and it fits right in my laptop bag. Same thing. I've got my desk at my work. I work from home, so my desk at my workstation has all of my lighting on it. There's like 8 lights surrounding me at any given moment. And then I have my overhead camera boom arm set up, and I have my front-facing camera set up, and it's ready to go. If I want to shoot a video, I'm shooting a video like right between meetings or something like that, which is one of the reasons why I'm able to get moving.
Some milk.
It's there.
TC Fitz, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. And he sent us coffee yesterday morning, I believe. We did not.
Did we miss that?
I believe we missed that because I noticed that yesterday afternoon. So thank you, TC Fitz. I appreciate it. We all appreciate it.
We do.
Yeah, same thing to Yo. For the longest, I was setting up a green screen every single time I wanted to film, and I would find myself going, just don't. That's a couple of background stands, a cross. It's like that's going to take an extra 15 minutes. No, I ended up mounting mine from the ceiling, and the green screen is constantly there, and I can move it back and forth and get it out of the way when I don't need it in the workspace. But it literally takes 60 seconds to deploy it if I want to film.
I got the Elgato, the roll up one.
Yeah.
So I also have a curtain. I started with a curtain to use out in the shop. I just made a curtain rod out of a piece of PVC, but I have the Elgato one in here. It just rolls up and down like an old school movie projector screen into its own case, and then I stand it out of the way because I have computer stuff behind me. You just can't see it. And those are great. And I have a bigger one for out in the shop now. Much wider.
Shane makes a good point.
So I can pop that thing up and pop it down and get it out of the way so I'm not tripping over it.
Shane makes an excellent point. And somebody asked this question before about, like stage fright and that kind of thing. And your first 100 videos are going to suck. Period.
If you don't believe him, go back and watch any of our first videos.
Dang it, I'm still in the suck zone.
I'm still in the suck zone too, I think. Well, no,
your second 200 videos are going to suck a little bit less.
My last video sucked.
Yeah, it did. I wasn't going to say anything, but you brought it up.
Yeah. I mean, so it's always there's always going to be something that you can do a little bit better. And just that's what you want to focus on is look to improve. If that's what you want to do. I mean, there's plenty of guys out there who are making great videos, good content, but the production value is just not where it needs to be. There's good enough, and then there's analysis paralysis or perfection being the enemy, that kind of stuff.
And it's excellent to suck on your first 100 videos because you have less than 100 subscribers, so nobody's going to notice.
No one notices. I think the biggest problem I've ever had is there's 2 or 3 times where I've been working on one and I've just gotten mired down in what the hell am I even trying to say here? Because it becomes this editing thing of, oh, I didn't want to say that. That's stupid. And I'm cutting that out, but that's tied to something else. And I end up sitting here just throwing up my hands. What in the hell am I even trying to say? And I've whacked 2 or 3 videos just because I was all over the map.
How many of you guys have done an entire video with the camera off or the lens covered or the audio turned off?
Yeah, plenty of times.
Yeah.
Audio.
Carlos is perfect every time.
And then I turn the audio on and I record the colorful metaphors that are spewing forth from my mouth as I get myself in the frame to re-say it again.
StreamYard
I haven't done a whole video, but I've...
How many, and that's it?
Raise your hand, Carlos. Just raise your hand.
Okay, then I raise my hand. There you go.
I haven't done an entire video, but I have done sections and I've shot it.
Yeah.
Then I go and look at it. It's like, oh man, I didn't turn my... Because I usually turn my my Rode Go off between things to save the battery, right? Well, I should just let it run because half the time I'll forget it. And I'm like, oh man, I did really good on that one. I just recorded it with no audio, But I've done a few times when, for some reason, my camera didn't focus. And I've gotten to the point now. I'll set my stuff up, I'll shoot it, I'll go look at it, and usually it's the short stuff. And it's like, oh man, I got to go reshoot that again. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Maybe it's never good. I don't know.
People are subscribing. It must be good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm anxious to use this thing. I haven't even. All I did was hook it to a radio the other day and listen to see if I could hear.
I wish you the best of luck with it, because that's the one that I just had to ditch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, mind you, my use case is very different than your use case. Well, although I don't know, I was hooking it up to my radio through the accessory port in the back, and I just wasn't getting audio out of it. It was what was coming through was either overblown or underleveled, and there was no
that's settings though.
And that's just it. My radio doesn't have a setting about it, and
No,
the
this has
recorder doesn't have a
settings.
setting about it.
Oh, yeah,
So I'm just telling you that I practiced with it. I couldn't find a
Okay.
setting that worked. Okay, so there's settings on it, but I just couldn't find one that worked. And it may be just a thing where that recorder and my radio, right? And my radio is probably not your radio. I'm using a 706 Mark II-G. And if you're trying to use it with 706 Mark II-G, I'll tell you that I've tried every setting already.
Well, I haven't tried it yet, so all I know is that it does pump the audio to me. So that's all I know so far. Like I said, I haven't. I'll probably use it here before I go to my next trip.
And with that said, my last two jumps, I had issues with the recorder that Adam gifted me. And the thing is, I tested it on the ground. I took it to a park and did a Parks on the Air with it and tested it on the ground. Had no problem. And of course, as soon as I took it into Sky for our video, it just went womp, womp, womp and sad trombone. So
That's your new call sign, by the way. We found that out yesterday. Womp,
Sad
womp,
trombone.
womp, 89
So,
OLM.
You need a noise canceling microphone, probably. Like
that's what everybody says.
Motorcycle stuff.
And that's what everybody says. And what I comment to my reply to those comments on my videos is, that's perfect. Send it to me and I'll use it.
Yeah. I just got rid of one. I would have sent it to you. Because because I've called my wife from my motorcycle, and my motorcycle is not quiet. It has a fairing and stuff, but there's still wind noise, and she says I can't even tell you're on your motorcycle.
I'm thinking
So
about
that
putting
might
a
be a way to
Senna.
go. I wouldn't buy
thinking about-
Senna.
I'm thinking about putting in a Senna without the Bluetooth, just a wired Senna to the radio and seeing
Right.
if that works.
Talk to me. I'll tell you a better setup than Senna's.
Please
I
do,
not
because
like,
I
I do
like,
not
I'm
like.
all
I got
ears.
rid of my Senna stuff. For what you're using, the Senna is probably fine.
In
the
Skydiving,
Which
Which
is
more
it, Chuck? Does he
noise
want
do
it
you
or
do?
not?
He's doing 120 miles an hour. You're only doing 110.
That's true. That's
and
true.
the thing is, my Senna is also another staple in skydiving, because
Wow.
this is inside baseball and may mean nothing to you guys and the people watching, but there's a discipline in skydiving called flocking, where you fly canopies, very high speed canopies, very close to each other intentionally. And the way you get that done is by putting in a Senna in your head, in your helmet, and talking, back and forth. Okay, I'm to your left, approaching you to your left, don't move, approaching you, stop. Okay, now we're there, right? And everybody uses Sennas. If you use anything other than a Senna, you're not going to get communication in a flock, and it's going to be dangerous.
See,
Well,
that was
how
the
do you-
problem.
how do you
that was the
even-
problem. That's the problem we were having. Introducing new people, bringing people back into the Sennas is there's a way better system out there. Believe me, it's
Please,
in fact Senna has gone to it, but there still doesn't work. That's one of those companies I was talking about that, hey, just buy our new product because it's all fixed, and it's not. They still haven't fixed their problems. If you I'll give you the name of a better setup. We went to it, and it's never had a problem. It's not Bluetooth. It's what is that stuff? The new stuff for your house stuff. It's like a wet. No, I forget what they call it. I'll figure
Mesh.
it out.
It's mesh.
Meshing. It's a
Well, that's
meshing system.
That's Wi-Fi. That's probably 2.4 gigahertz.
And it's been way more reliable first, because we have groups of like 5, 6, 7, 8 people, And every time we took our sentences, we had to resync everybody, which we shouldn't have to do. And not every time, but a lot of times. And we went to a different brand. It's a Pack Talk Bold. Check those out. They're way more reliable. I don't know if that works with your niche, though. You know what I mean, Carlos?
All I heard was
Carlos is
chop,
reading
chop, chop, chop.
I'll catch it in post. So yeah, I mean, so Shane made this comment also. Editing is a big part of your storytelling, and you get better at editing. And there's a lot of things you can fix at editing. He just mentioned that he made a KM4ACK antenna, and the audio wasn't turned on. You can go back and do a voiceover on top of that, or you can do an interstitial where you talk a little bit, show a little bit, talk a little bit, show a little bit, and it's a new technique. You got to explore something new. You got to get out of your comfort zone. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. But there's always another video coming out after that. So it's not that big of a deal.
Well, you and I talked about that on one of my videos. I did a video and I mistakenly hit the thing to turn off a channel on my stuff. And you and I just figured it out. And right as I was checking it out, you said, "Hey, I think you can fix that in post."
Yep.
And I was. You couldn't tell. But
yeah, I've had that happen.
Sounds terrible.
Where this microphone went to one channel, and then so in post, what I needed to do is I used Audacity to rip the audio out. So I shot the whole video, edited, and then I ripped the audio out and went in Audacity and then duplexed it, I guess is what they call it. Put it on both channels and then reapplied it and then just re-rendered the video. But it was a huge pain in the butt, mostly because I'm not an audio type person. I don't do a lot of that type of work.
You're an expert now.
Well, I don't know if I could remember how I did it. And then the I used to do lots of
Millers were involved.
Yeah, I used to do lots of voiceovers in my videos, more than I do now. And so when I went to Mojave, that was something like everybody's like, well, in DaVinci you can do voiceovers, but it was like a 5-click process in the version at the time, as opposed to a 1-click process in Mojave. And so like what I used to do a lot of times is that I would say one sentence, stop, say the next sentence, stop. So at the end of a 5-minute video, I might have 30 different audio clips that I needed to manage or juggle. And one thing is I stopped doing one sentence at a time. It made it a lot easier. But the other one is that with Mojave, I can see all of those different video clips. It just made it easier for my workflow. I'm not saying it's better than DaVinci, but it certainly has.
That's how I am. That's how I am.
I was able to fix that my audio stuff in DaVinci with no problem. I'm sure yours does that too now.
I don't know about
you using for video.
For editing?
Yeah,
I'm using DaVinci.
Yeah.
I think the camera gear and the editing software, it's kind of like which radio do you prefer?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's got their own, that it may work perfect for you. It may not work at all for me. I mean, Carlos is not going to take the little Osmo Pocket 2 on a jump. I just don't see it working very well for him.
How are you going to stabilize a completely unstable life?
No,
no
for
offense,
my
Carlos. I meant the parachute, not your life.
Yeah. So I think you just have to kind of experiment a little bit and find out what works for you. You're going to make some mistakes and some purchasing mistakes along the way. That's just kind of part of the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're dead on with that. I was watching videos try to learn how to use DaVinci when I was trying to make that selection process. And there was a guy that was out there and he's like, look at this video of me walking down the street. And he had like those yellow parking poles that were there. So he goes through and he makes those parking poles purple instead of yellow, just to show what DaVinci can do. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I am never, ever, ever, ever going to need that kind of functionality. So then it also started to be like, is DaVinci like I just need a hammer. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily need all that.
DaVinci is they're like a professional color grading company originally.
Mm-hmm. I
got into editing. Yeah.
What's up, Larry?
Hey, Larry? The one thing I really enjoy about DaVinci is it works for my brain, one, and two, the built-in color correction. Like you could color correct, and be nitpicky about it if that's what your thing is, right?
What?
But the built-in color correction is one button, and I went from having meh video, okay video, to having, whoa, that's the way it looked when I was up there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something to be said. Well, part of what I'm trying to share is how, like, a video that I have coming out this week is a sunset jump, is how beautiful that sunset was. And the camera didn't capture it. The camera didn't get it right. And when I
blows it
edited,
out.
and this was the DJI.
Oh,
This was
they
my
both
DJI.
do.
So I went into DaVinci and I told it to color correct it automatically. I didn't fiddle with anything other than tell it
I haven't tried that.
automatic color correction, and it made the video look the way that sunset was. And that's part of what I want to share, because it is beautiful up there. It's, part of what people are watching, I think, is I'm never going to make a skydive myself. I'm going to make a skydive through the eyes of Carlos. So
Yeah, I'm not going to do it. Or at least I'm not
either.
planning to do it. I can tell you that.
You can do mine for
Skydive?
me,
Yeah, I don't
Carlos.
see you skydiving.
I'm not gonna.
Apes don't have wings.
Yeah, the GoPros and the Osmos, they blow skies out and stuff. They make it way more bluer than it is. The Osmo's a little closer to my. I've compared both to my Sony, which is pretty good for most stuff, and it's a little bit closer. But they're both not. They want to give you that really blue sky.
But don't they have
it's
lenses though
dramatic.
that you can buy and you can connect to them to help with that?
Yeah, I never use mine.
But the thing is right, with a $200 action cam and an $800 SLR, right? There is going to be differences, right?
A lot of differences.
The other thing.
Does anybody else use ND filters or variable ND filters?
I have some, yeah.
I do for photography, but I don't for skydiving.
Okay, you might want to look into that. I don't know if they're available for the GoPro, but ND filters can make a big difference in your video footage.
Yeah.
Do you have them on your Pocket? Because like when I had the Pocket, that was one of the things I was looking at, were those filters.
Yes. If I'm outside, they're running on the Pocket. If I'm inside, they're not.
I have them on for the action. I don't have them for this. The other thing with this camera, if you guys have you ever noticed any clicking in your audio, Carlos? Your audio is different because you have more noise in it to start with, but it has every once in a while it gets this clicking. It's a known thing, and most people won't hear it, but I hear it when I'm editing because I'm listening to it through headphones and stuff, which is annoying. And the other thing I don't like about these is to actually hook a microphone up to it costs a lot.
Oh yeah, that is
outrageous, and it's huge. It's a huge add-on.
And the thing is, I wanted to just put a USB-C microphone adapter on it. Just take the door off. Right. I don't need the door. I can just put a piece of tape to keep the battery in. Right. Not a big deal. No, it won't work. You have to use their medium on it. It's like, I just want to choke the living daylights out of them.
On the GoPro 3s, you could hook just a microphone into it, no problem. Fix that. They fixed that problem. You can't.
Yeah, they did.
Easily.
I have a friend that made an accessory for it. For the GoPro 3 through 5, I think it was, it was called Turned On, and it was an indicator that you would put on the 30-pin port on the back, and it was a cable that you would snake down and into over your helmet with an LED, and it would just 3 LEDs.
Let you know.
Blue, red, yellow. Blue, my camera's turned on. Red is recording. Yellow, there's something wrong with it. Fix it. And basically they didn't like the idea of Trunk making this thing, and Trunk was one of 2 or 3 people that were using the port for making accessories, and they just closed off the port. They went, okay, fine, we'll encrypt the port and you can't use it.
We can make more money if we sell you $100 adapter.
Exactly.
$150 adapter. Cameras haven't gone to that. They have ports. I'll tell you the truth. Actually, the sound on this and the sound on the Osmo are pretty good without a microphone.
So we got our last question of the day from John here. John wants to know, do you still need to set the white balance on a modern camera? Jason, I'll let you take this one.
It depends. A lot of times you can get away with auto. Sometimes you're going to be in screwy situations, and yes, you need to set the white balance. But white balance is remarkably good on modern cameras.
Yeah.
And it really just depends, I guess, a lot. For me, I've always decided it just depends on what background you've got. And how good your white balance circuitry is. If you've got a reasonably neutral background that doesn't have any strange colors in it, like green, then it'll generally do okay. Green or yellow seem to throw off white balance.
You heard it here
usually
first,
just leave
folks.
mine. I leave mine
Well, I mean,
auto.
it just
I've
depends
had-
on the camera. I mean, I'm
I've had
probably
mo-
not using high-end gear like Jason has, but
I've had more problems with light change by using the
I have
automatic
that.
ISO and stuff like that, because you wear a shirt and you move like this, and all of a sudden the
Yeah,
camera
I
says,
hate
"Oh
that
wow,
when that
now it's
happens.
really bright," you know.
Yep, I got it.
And I'm too lazy. I'm too lazy to do manual on it on the
Right.
you know. I forget. Well, half the time you don't know what's happening until you get done.
one thing that
Good
drove
nick.
me crazy, a true story of the white balance part, when I was doing the Libra VNA review, every time I moved that around on the bench from the overhead camera, man, it was flashing on and off. It was bizarre. Because
Yeah,
that
mine
thing
does
was
that.
so
It drives
reflective.
me crazy, but it's just kind of the tax I pay.
Right.
My overhead camera is actually a security camera that I got.
Did
on
you
the
change out
internet.
from your Chinese camera you had?
It's the same one, yeah. That's
Is that
just a
same one,
Chinese
the
security
$90
camera.
one?
Yeah, I mean, and it's
It works
nice,
good,
but
actually.
yeah, I'd like to look at other options. But like, I went through like 10 different webcams trying to find a good overhead webcam, and I just could not find one that would work. I want it to be USB powered, so I just plug it into the computer and then
Yeah,
run
one
with it.
less cable.
Right.
Yeah.
Now,
I don't
one
wanna
thing
deal with a
One
bunch
thing
of
we didn't
stuff.
really talk about that I thought was interesting, and I don't know if you guys have come up on it yet. I have once or twice. If I want to shoot green screen, I have to shoot in OBS. I've never shot anything where I've put the green screen stuff in post. And so Adobe Rush does not do that. I would have to go to something else like Premiere to do that. So when I do a green screen, I'm running out of OBS and I'm shooting straight into the computer into OBS. And he does the green screen chroma key filtering. Do you guys do that at all? Ape, like you and Jason, do you guys do it in post or are you doing it live? Like
Live.
this is
I'm
green
doing it
screen
live.
OBS. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm doing it live.
I've never tried that. And I don't there was one or two situations I had where I wanted to do it, and at the time I didn't have Premiere. Now I've got Premiere and I'm too lazy to make myself use it. So
As a professional photographer, you learn at least the older school guys stay out of post production as much as possible. If I
Right.
can spend 2 minutes fixing it now, or I can spend 30 minutes fixing it later, which one is more cost advantageous to me?
right.
I want to fix it while we're in the shot, and that way I don't have to spend an hour looking at it later for the same amount of money.
I don't know about you, Jason, but I took a white balance card and I cut it in such a way that it would fit inside of my lens cap, so that anytime I need it, I can just pop the lens cap and pop it.
That's
And-
pretty awesome.
I have a reference for white, for gray, for black, and a couple of colors that I managed to fit in the corner. That way, I can get my white balance fixed, and then when I'm doing post, I can reference that and go, okay, I need to add a little bit here and a little bit there, and make a preset and apply it to everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good idea.
Yeah. If you can fix it first, it will save you from pulling
Yeah.
your hair out later.
Yep. Do it straight out of camera as much as you can.
Yeah.
I can't
A lot
believe
of
this
these.
question.
Oh, go ahead.
You shoot 4K?
No.
I don't either.
Me neither.
No.
I haven't seen a reason for it.
You
Not
should
for
what?
what
I'm
we
already
do.
gorgeous enough. You can't handle me at 4K.
Oh, son.
4K.
You showed that video with that new haircut yesterday. I was like, is he out of prison? Is that just his prison footage or what?
I lost a bet.
The only advantage I can see for shooting in 4K is you can zoom in and throw
Right.
away half of the footage, and you've still got 1080.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Outside of that,
I shoot 4K
outside
for
of
that
that,
reason.
yeah, outside of that, I really don't see the need, because 4K is just going to take up more storage space
I don't have the storage.
And-
That's why.
and take me longer it'll take longer to edit.
Yep. Longer to
The
edit, longer to
1080.
render.
Yep, everything.
And it's only going to be
You
so
just
good on
multiplied
YouTube
your
anyhow,
problem
right?
4x.
Yeah, and then you take your 4K footage, and YouTube is going to step on it when it's uploaded.
Right.
Yep.
I think I shot one time in 4K, and that was on my Osmo, just to see. I mean, I didn't notice any huge difference.
Honestly, I think for what we all shoot, 4K just doesn't, especially for me. I don't know. Carlos maybe, Jason, Chuck possibly, but I mean for me, I'm shooting the inside stuff, pictures of oscilloscopes, and it looks the same at 1080 as it does at
Okay,
4K.
Nick's out there.
So you know.
I shoot 4K for the reason Jason noted, and it's because I can take you, and you'll see some of it on my next video. I can take a mediocre look down towards my meters, and I want to show you the meters on the radio, and I can zoom into that, and I'm not really losing anything. The quality of the meters is still showing. So yeah, that's the only reason I shoot 4K.
Well, and if you're shooting video from a jump or something, yeah. If I was a wildlife photographer or videographer, I'd probably shoot 4K.
Yeah, but even like when you get the pictures and video package in tandem skydiving, the video you're getting is 1080p, and we shoot in 2K only to be able to get stills out of it at a reasonable resolution.
Yeah, and I can see that. Plus, which I don't have a 4K camera or 4K television, so
You don't have
old.
4K television?
I think.
Nope.
I think.
I don't have 4K eyes.
Yeah.
right.
I think Jason's camera and my
these are
camera
like
both.
640 by 480 eyeballs.
I think at 1080, I think Jason's and my camera both shoot higher resolution and dub it down to 1080 also, right? I remember reading something about
Got me.
that. So it's,
Don't know.
I mean, I've blown up a lot of 1080, and I can't tell. I mean, I don't blow it up a lot, but I usually crop it a little bit, you know.
You can get away with zooming in some, but you can't throw away half of the image and it not
No,
be
I don't do
noticeable.
half. I don't do half.
Yeah,
I usually I'm
that's
close
the
enough to
advantage.
where I want.
Yeah, that's the advantage of 4K is being able to throw away half of the image and still have HD quality.
What I have found out is, especially at overhead stuff, I used to get in too tight, and it's like, shoot, half that stuff's out of the thing. So now I bump it back a little bit, and I quit using OBS to record in because of the quality. It cut the quality. So I just record it on my camera, and sometimes now I'm just getting to where I record everything on my camera. I just do it inside. Sometimes I'll throw it on OBS to watch it maybe, but
You're not recording in OBS?
for my overhead stuff, no.
I don't.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
I don't either. I mean, the overhead stuff.
780,
The only
man.
thing, what I record in OBS is the stream. That all runs through OBS. And
I'm using it now.
any talking head stuff that I do, blue screen or slides or whatever, that's all out of OBS. Because
I'm
that's-
100% in OBS, everything.
But the
Yeah, we-
camera,
it shows.
the overhead stuff,
It shows,
and
yeah.
oscilloscope bench stuff, that's all straight out of camera. Because there's no green screen involved or anything else.
So, Jason, did you shoot Canons when you were doing weddings?
No,
No?
when Canon, no, I shoot Nikons.
Okay.
And the reason is when Canon moved from manual focus to autofocus early on, they changed their lens mounts.
Oh,
And
they did that
anybody
a
that's a
lot.
photographer, anybody that's a photographer knows the money is not in the cameras; it's in the glass.
It's in the
And
glass
if
and
you-
the stupid mount system. That's right.
Yeah, and if
Sony
you
just came
change
out
that,
with 3 really nice lenses too.
yeah, but if you change that mount system on me, then you're costing me a lot of money trying to sell those lenses
Oh,
and upgrade.
But
So
Jason,
when they
we can
did
sell
that,
you the adapter mount though.
no, I'll go to Nikon and I can buy a current camera DSLR and put a lens from 1968 on that current camera.
Yeah, I have
Wow.
lenses.
Okay, I did
off
not
the
know
old
that. I'm a
cameras.
Canon guy, but I did not know that. And I'm Canon
was
Canon
Canon,
enough.
too.
Now,
with
Canon
EFS.
hasn't done. Canon has not done it again since that change to the EOS. But the EOS was a different mount from their manual lenses back in the
They
day.
abandoned their M series though, pretty much. They don't make lenses for that anymore.
That was, I think I had an M3, and it was expensive. It was a nice camera, but I had all the lenses.
Sigma saved that because Sigma came out with good lenses for M's.
But with the Canon and with the Nikons, you don't have the artifact problems that you have with the Sonys as well.
He just,
Yeah,
he just
Canon
puts that stuff
is
out
probably.
there. People are listening to him like
I was waiting for
again.
his face on that one. Very good, Abe.
Yeah,
Canon
wanna
is
get it-
probably ahead of
Aberration.
Nikon when it comes to video.
What's that? Oh,
Canon is.
I see. Yeah, Canon is probably ahead of Nikon when it comes to video.
You know, when I started the YouTube channel, I have a Canon 60D and I have a 5D Mark II. The 60D will not webcam at all. I don't remember now. And the
I have
5D
60.
Mark II will webcam, but you have to use this somewhat sketchy Canon middleware to make it do webcam functions.
yeah.
Yep.
And I had all sorts of problems with that, and I ended up scouring the YouTube and going to the ZV-1, and I haven't had any problem with it admittedly, all it does is sit in the same place and just do live stream now, or like I said, talking headshot stuff.
You know, the other thing that Sony got rid of is that 15-minute cutoff.
Yes, there was the thing with one of their other.
Why am I
cameras
missing
before.
all this footage? And then I found out it was good for like 13 minutes on my old.
I want to get another ZV-1. I want to replace the Handycam style crap I have out in the shop and get another ZV-1.
I want to say Josh replaced all his webcams with ZV-1s.
I believe you're right, because I was watching part of his video the other day, and I think he said something.
I'm just more into a camera I can change the lens on. Not that I wouldn't have one of those.
I still have all my Canon gear. I'd be glad to ship it to you for free.
Well, the ZV-10 you can change and I wish I had gotten the ZV-10, but I bought this, when it first came out.
Well, you bought it before it came out, didn't you?
I'll buy that from you if you need the cash to buy it.
We'll see. This is I have the original box, so it's like $1,000.
Oh, that adds so much
Extra
value to it.
3dB.
So, fellas, we have had a fantastic time sharing with you our camera setup and our thoughts on the YouTube stream. And
opinions are only ours.
It's
some
a big
thoughts
rabbit
which
hole.
were good, some thoughts which were kind of sketchy. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And all of our opinions are subject to change tomorrow morning. So make sure that you tune in next week to hear all of the apologies for this week's stream. It's been a fantastic ride. Jason, we appreciate having you here. Carlos, you're a fantastic host. So I appreciate being here. And
thanks
we
for
will
having
see
me.
you next Saturday on Coffee and Ham Radios. Do we even know what our topic is for next Saturday yet?
We do.
Abe does, I'm sure.
I don't. I have
Jim
no
does.
idea.
Jim does.
Isn't that on our schedule for next Saturday?
It is,
What
but
is
I
it?
don't have it remembered.
What is it?
What is it, Jim?
We're working on a project. We're working on a build, a radio field strength meter.
Oh.
Oh, great. Now somebody's going to do that video.
Did you want me to not say it? You should have said, "Don't say it." Or,
I could care less.
Stop it. Oh, it's like this all the time. It's like having my mother in here yelling at me sometimes. The stress of working with the talent on this show sometimes is
Princess. Thank you all. We'll see you in the next one.
Thanks,
Bye,
everybody.
guys.